our tires. And Tay says, we sell planes, weapons, tents, everything but the kitchen sink to everyone outside of the U.S. We literally give the Middle East the same shit we use on a daily basis.
Yes. Remember Trump last year was touting that military sale to Saudi Arabia.
Right.
All those F-18s or whatever planes it was.
What you asking me for?
Yeah, it was a big thing. He was like, see, 16,
right.
$1 billion worth of military arms. And these people make the money. Follow the money.
Right.
Follow the money.
Yeah, don't get caught up in the hype of everything. We got to go kick some ass.
Right.
It's deeper than that, I guess I should say.
Way deeper than that.
And Jonelle says, World War II will look like a firecracker compared to this one. And I want to say this, too. A lot of people who may not, follow Farrakhan and believe what he says, he called this. Mm-hmm. And was it 2018? He's warned Trump, don't do this. Mm-hmm. Don't mess with Iran. He says because what's going to happen is, it's going to destroy America. So I guess, that remains to be seen. Also, it's going to cause China and Russia to jump in or to unite. And it sounds like that's what's going on.
Well, is Farrakhan a Muslim or is he a double Muslim?
Explain. Because you told me what a double Muslim was.
A double Muslim is the guy that can't wait to meet Allah and wants to take you with him.
I don't know.
Because there's a lot of those Iranian people, they're some double Muslims, okay?
I want to be on their good side.
And that's the hardest, as a soldier, those are the hardest people to fight that are fanatical in their belief that they're going to get 7 virgins and stuff, you know what I mean? When they die. No, you know what I mean? If they believe that stuff, and that's a hard person to beat.
Right. I don't know about that.
Okay.
But he did call it.
Okay.
I would say that. And Tay says, when I was in Iraq and we were packing up, we didn't ship that stuff back to the U.S. We sold it. Okay?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I... Anyway. Hey, times were tough. I had child support payments.
I'm about to say, you want to incriminate yourself?
No.
Okay. And Hannah says, if you give up your liberty for security, you won't have either.
Thank you.
Okay.
And that's what's happening here. That's what's happening right now.
Right. And hey, James just says, analysts
you got it.
were calling for financial collapse was imminent. All indications said it would have already happened, had no choice but to go to war, and no media on $21 trillion unaccounted for. Okay.
See, follow that money.
Right. And Sydney says the Afghans wanted to burn the opioids and we stopped it too. So on the other hand, to your point, Sydney, you got this war on, what is it? What do they call it? The opioid addiction, I guess, if you will. And so they got to stop it. They got all these initiatives and things like that, but then we didn't stop them.
Well, for those of us that have been over there and those of us that are troops, the Afghans have never, ever before grown such big poppy fields since we've been over there. So where is that? They're harvesting it, right? Every year.
Right.
Where is that stuff going? Did you guys hear about that?
Suburbia.
Did you guys hear about that? They just confiscated like 6 tons of heroin or something.
I heard about the one that was on the J.P. Morgan Chase.
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah.
6 tons of heroin on its way to the United States.
By.
Yeah.
It was just strolling by, his minding his business.
Where are these numbers coming from? And now there's an opioid addiction. Wow. The tie-in. What's the tie-in?
Right. What's really going on? And so, I'll address you guys. I don't, war is not something, of course I've heard of it and I know about it a little bit, but I see a lot of hysteria brewing, if you will. If you go on Black Twitter, I don't know, Black people, we're very unique.
Well,
right?
well, I think the hysteria is coming from the fact that, y'all niggas ain't doing nothing, so we'll send you to fight the wars.
And we're going to continue doing nothing if it means that we going to war.
Right.
I think you should at least understand why you're going before you're sent off to go, right,
exactly.
to war. And it's funny because my oldest nephew was going to enlist, if you will. Was he going to enlist?
Yeah, he was going to enlist.
He was going to enlist.
Dummy.
And he decided not to.
Yeah. And now he's got a daughter and things like that.
Yeah, because he would have been out of boot camp by now. So, I don't know. Would he have been going?
Absolutely.
Right. So, he made the right call.
Well, again, depending on what his job was, and your nephew, and I got to keep telling people this, because that shows you how not informed we are.
Go ahead and say ignorant, brother.
Yeah, how ignorant we are. They don't send lawyers to combat. They don't send doctors to combat. Certain career fields, they don't send you to combat unless it's that bad. And if you're in the Army and the Navy, yes, you are a trained, rifle. You got to know how to use your rifle. But if you're a IT specialist, they don't need you in the front row because they have no chance of winning this war.
Right.
So they don't send you, depending on what. But if you're one of these people that just, oh yeah, I'm just joining the service to get out of my situation. Here's a gun. Go out there and go kill somebody. That's pretty much it. But if you have stuff behind you and they don't, because you have a value.
Right. They need you to actually be pulling strings.
Yeah. You have a value that they want.
I mean, to me, I just think it's scary for anybody to think about actually going to war to fight,
Well, again, for me, being born into it, it's what you do,
That's what you do.
Yes, that's what I do. And I do it very well.
And let's see here. And Jonelle says, this is a drug dealing nation.
Yes. You heard Michael Bolton. Whatever drug deal Giuliani's cooking up, I don't want to be a part of it.
Right, because he's cooking up some shit, okay? And let's see here. James says United States is... Oh, let me see more because I always lose my place. Okay, United States is... United States left bases, intel, weapons, vehicles. Russia and China have their own clearinghouse. No need for the dollar. This is why Putin said said that the dollar is dead. Donovan said it. Follow the money.
Follow the money.
Absolutely.
And you guys got to remember this. I know you guys... don't believe me, and you guys have your own thoughts, and that's great. You have your own thoughts, but you got to use your basic logic. Rich people do not believe in democracy. They don't.
What's that?
Yeah, they don't. That's why Trump, he's unassailable. He's like, I'm rich. No, that doesn't apply. The law doesn't apply to me. It applies to these people.
Right.
That affluence. Have you guys heard about that affluenza kid?
Affluenza. Yeah, right. He literally said he was too rich to go to jail because he didn't understand and he would never make it in prison.
Right. And then Lori Loughlin. Did you hear about her? This woman's taking karate lessons.
She gonna have to. Okay.
Here's the deal. I don't care how rich you are and how many. I don't care if Bruce Lee himself taught you karate. When you get into the jail and they jump your ass, it's going to be more than one person.
Shit, her husband better be taking that karate. Okay? Because he's a good-looking dude, too.
Right. So, I mean,
too sweet!
The Midnight Thud.
We shouldn't be laughing about that, dropping the soap stuff. It's not funny.
But, but in all seriousness, rich people do not believe in democracy, and I'll prove it. During the Revolutionary War, the so-called four thieves of this country...
What you call them?
The four thieves.
Got it.
The four thieves of this country. You look at the aristocrats, which is what we call the aristocrats. They were for England.
Right.
They were for England. They were like, no, rebel. What are you talking about? Against who?
Right.
And if you go to the southern parts of the United States, and you got the plantations, right? Those people were what? Aristocrats. They wanted the status quo.
Now you're talking too much facts now.
Sorry.
Lay off the facts a little bit,
okay. But just remember that. Rich people do not believe in democracy.
Right. And Tay says, Donovan, speak on it. Your career field will make a world of difference if your experience is in the military.
Right.
Okay.
So score high on that ASVAB.
Okay. Hannah says, Americans, it says white folks, in parentheses, are okay with war because it's always someplace else. We've been at war for 20 years already.
Preach. And I have to correct you, though. We are not at war. We are in an operation.
And if you were in the military as well, right?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because a lot of people keep saying that. You got to remember, only Congress can declare war. If they don't declare war, we're not in a war. We're in a police action.
Well, what would Bush say?
He's an idiot.
He said an act of war
during
9/11 has been committed among American people.
But an act of war takes another nation. If a rogue element within a nation, how do you declare war on a person or a group or an organization? You can't.
And fun fact, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, what happened when Bush did that? When he said an act of war has been committed among the American people in regards to the insurance companies.
Oh, I forget. Go ahead.
And made it null and void because that's one of the clauses on your insurance.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Unless if an act of war takes place, they don't have to pay out.
You, right.
Well, who was he? Especially like organizations like American Express and these big financial companies. Who are they friends with? The CEOs and all that. So
like that.
by him doing that, it screwed all of those people. Most of those people who had insurance,
right? They got killed.
Died.
Got killed. Yep.
Well, we would pay, but an act of war happened.
Yeah, happened, and we can't do that again. Follow the money.
Right.
Everything you want to know, follow that money trail.
Right.
No matter how small it is, because I'll guarantee you when it comes to a public figure, that little minuscule $5 donation gets to the $10, $1,000, and you're going to find out who the players are.
Right. And Jonelle says, I not only understand why you're going, but for what cause and whom you're truly fighting for. Awareness is free, but few of us pay attention, and majority program not to. This is truly a slave-making nation. And not only that, it's like, imagine how many of us will just say, okay, I need to go. I need to fight for my country.
Oh my God. That brings up a good story. When 9/11 happened, all of these idiots that ran to the recruiting center, like, I got to go fight for my country. What? You're here to do what?
Right.
I mean, I was just like, you left college.
Mind you, you were already deep.
Right. I was already deep in.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you're here to fight for your country. You left college. Idiots.
Right.
Don't
get Donovan started. I don't want his PTSD to act up. Jonelle says the line for weed. Oh my God. The line for weed was off the chain as news reporters showed, and they sold out of the ganja all over Illinois because it became legal on January 1st.
It's like Colorado.
They messed up all types of people's lives, and like a New Year flip that made it legal, 100% wicked. That's what I was telling my daughter. I said all of a sudden it's legal in most places, but like you said, there's Negroes doing 20, 30, 40, 50 years for a dime bag of weed. Right. But now the biggest gangster is the government. Now they want to get in on it.
Right. And, and the funny thing is, I was talking to this guy. He's like, yeah, weed is cool. And I said, I don't down anybody who wants to do that. I mean, I don't want to be around it because of my situation. But, I fly airplanes.
You might need a little ganja.
No. I fly airplanes. Would you want to fly with me knowing that I'm on ganja? See what I'm saying? It's like, well, why is it okay in your situation driving a car, but in my situation, flying an airplane, you don't want to fly with me because it doesn't hurt nothing. I got my glaucoma. See what I'm saying?
You got glaucoma, goddammit. Get your ass from behind the cockpit. You need to sit back here with us.
No. The plane's flying itself. I'm just there to watch the control.
How you gonna watch if you got glaucoma and you're high?
Because I hear the beeps.
No. Helen Keller ass. You ain't finna be behind the cockpit with me in there. No. And Jonelle says, rich people believe in money. Absolutely. Yes. Okay, that is their God. And Hannah says, yes, he was in the military. And Hannah says, once Congress gave Bush that blank check to fight Afghanistan, then the war, quote unquote, on terrorism began. It's all bullshit. Yes, it's real.
Absolutely bullshit. Because if it was real, why isn't he going after the KKK? Why isn't he going after the skinheads?
Well, see, because what had happened was they not really like terrorists.
Why aren't they charging these white shooters going into black churches under the terrorism bill?
Because they have mental issues. Right. Did you know what their mom and dad did to them when they were children?
So why don't the terrorists have mental issues? We should get them help. Matter of fact, we need to compensate their families for them crashing into the buildings.
Their families were compensated, okay? Right. If you believe in conspiracies, they were compensated, okay?
Yeah, look. Why did Bush fly out all the Saudi national royal family out of the country during an investigation?
Right.
Makes you think. Follow the money.
Well, actually, don't make us think. You know what I mean? Enough of us think. Right. And the ones that are thinking are deemed crazy. You know, or you're just making stuff up that's not true.
Conspiracy theorists.
Yeah, the government would never lie to us. This was a necessary thing, and it's like, okay.
I want you guys to think about this. John Kennedy, when he announced in 1963. He made a statement that said, at the end of the day, it is their war. They've got to fight or lose it. And he started withdrawing the troops out of Vietnam. What the hell happened to him? Pop. What do you think is going to happen? Okay, when that happened to Kennedy, it reduced the presidency to make the president no more than an arms salesman. All he does is talk about, our desire for peace.
Right.
While he sells arms to countries to fight.
Right.
And if the presidents don't do that, that's why Obama was like, I don't know what his feelings was. I don't really think he really wanted to go into Libya, but he has to.
But who did he have behind him? Really probably pulling the strings.
Exactly.
I mean, Hillary Clinton,
right.
You know.
And if he doesn't do it, an accident happens. Things happen. Remember that guy, Ron Brown, under the Clinton thing?
Right.
He was the Secretary of something, Commerce.
Right.
And he flew into a mountain.
What did Superfly tell the white the kingpin about his big-legged daughter?
Bitch better have my money.
He said something happened to me. So I'm sure that's probably what they told
Right.
Obama, you know.
Right. And that's what the presidency does. And that's why it doesn't matter who gets in there. They are going to continue this policy of unended wars. John Bolton, this guy's a war hawk. He was in the military.
Right.
But this guy wants to fight everybody. You're like, God,
Well, he ain't going to fight everybody.
Right. But he wants to, you know what I mean?
Right.
And, Trump's never been in the military, but he's a war hawk. All these people that don't really have a grasp of it, they want to fight and that's where our money's going. That's why we can't solve the problems here in the United States.
Right. And let's see. And Hannah says, why aren't we bombing the Saudis? They were the ones on the planes.
Because the Saudis have the oil. We get a lot of not a lot anymore, but they are our backup to the oil reserves. Remember, the Saudi Arabia Peninsula has huge reserve oil revenue. What's the second biggest one? Iraq. We got that one.
Right. Boy, did we.
Right. What's the third biggest one? Iran.
And that's what I was reading too. So maybe you can talk about this a little bit. I can't remember what source I was reading said that there's a risk or potential for them being the Iranians to actually destroy some of the oil reserve, if you will. Now that this has happened, I mean, right. I don't know how true that is.
Well, it's just like during Desert Storm when we started getting in there and going straight for the oil fields. And that's the funny thing. You got the Republican Guard here, but where was the American strategy going to? The first thing we had to do was scoop up the oil fields, not the troops over here killing the Kuwaitis. No, we had to go secure the oil fields.
Be right back.
Yeah. Then deal with those guys,
right.
So in Iran, again, we want that oil. And you have these older 70, 80, 90-year-old guys that think oil is everything. That is why they don't want the battery sources to come out, because if everybody goes to the alternate source of fuel, you don't need the oil.
You think that's why someone like Elon Musk has backed Andrew Yang?
Yeah, absolutely. Because you got these new people with new ideas that says, you know what? We've got unlimited resources in sun. We've got unlimited,
right.
And that it's safer. It's, doesn't
Let's
pollute.
Use the shit that we get for free.
We're getting for free, but
right.
You don't make a profit off of free.
Right. Wow. And Arson says, you two are my favorite dynamic duo. Just a couple of fools. That's what we are.
Golly gee, Batman.
And, hey, Artemis, how are you?
Yes.
Did the black man that attacked the Jew in their business, did he have mental issues? So you're talking about the guy that went on a stabbing spree in the, I guess it was a rabbi who was having a party or something.
Can I answer that?
Go ahead.
As a black man in America, yes, you have mental issues. Yes, automatic.
Out the womb.
Yes.
But that's what his family said, that, he's mentally ill. Like, it's possible.
Seriously, look at every black man. Now, I'm not talking about kids, they get a certain age and whatever it does. Look into their eyes. There is not one clear black eye that I've seen in a black man's eye. We have like a little crack or a...
So how my eyes look?
You got a crack. It's the stress of being black in this country. I'm telling you. It's a fact. We have hypertension. What was that thing that you put up? Black kids are...
discriminated against at school 5 times a day on average. Right.
Would you agree with that? I would agree with that. I would agree with that. So
I would totally agree with it.
Just think,
and it was probably worse when we was coming up, because there was no, you can't do that. We got all this diversity stuff going on.
So just think of going through that situation, and then you become a grown person. How could you not be mentally ill in this country as a black person?
Right.
We
all need a crazy check. Shit. Yeah. And then, let's see. Sydney says Kennedy is the last president.
Yes, he was the last, president where everybody believed what the government said and was like...
Well, maybe... So do you mean, Sydney, to the point of he thought he can act as the president, calling the shots, and then to your point, it's like, well, we'll see about that?
Yes, because remember, Kennedy was like, why are we paying interest for paper? I'm going to print my own greenbacks. Why should we pay the Federal Reserve's money? Bang, 3 weeks later.
Right.
Dead.
Right.
Dead.
And Jonelle says Kennedy's death was the Zionists to take over this white nation.
Yes.
What's happening, Cedric?
Yeah, but ask you guys that. The Federal Reserve is not a federal facility. That is a private world banking facility. Why are we paying interest on paper that we can print ourselves? And I actually have a Kennedy printed dollar, that was backed by the United States government.
Where are you keeping it at?
Well, I can't tell you. But you know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, think about it. You're paying interest on paper to a entity that isn't a federal entity.
Right.
That's like paying taxes to some corporation that doesn't really have but they gave the monetary system to the Federal Reserve to tell us how.
Right.
We're going to lend you money, but we're going to put interest on paper? What? We can print this ourselves with the United States government. We can print that.
What's really going on?
Yeah, Kennedy was like, we can print this ourselves.
Right.
Lincoln did the same thing. The Lincoln Greenbacks during the Civil War. He was like, I can print this myself. Bang, dead.
Too much you make too much sense now.
Follow the money.
Cedric, it says the hate is real. I got an email message from YouTube.com channel. It says Virgo Triad for commenting in support of Moorish American / Al Moroccan, Noble Sharpton, Tracy Gale Bay. Follow this case, please. She is now being held until February in their prisoner war camp by the United States Service Corporation of Occupation, deep state corruption at this. Please let's focus on our attention on her situation. Noble Sharon Tracy Gale Bay, a present day freedom fighter for our people. Never heard of her before.
Yeah,
never.
I'll look that up.
We definitely will look it up. Never heard of her. Sounds like it's somebody we should have heard about, so I will definitely look that up. Thank you for sharing. And Sydney says, I thought the person who runs the country was the top advisor.
Could be. You know what I mean? Could be, but it ain't the president. That's for damn sure.
So who is it?
I mean, because think about it. Look at all these cabinet members that do all these things, and the president doesn't really know. That gives him plausible denial.
I mean, think about this. No shade to Trump, or maybe I do want to give Trump some shade. That he doesn't even strike you guys as a person who was like super knowledgeable about all this.
No, he won't even release his.
He starts tweets with very, very fantastic.
Right. Right. Yeah, they say he has a vocabulary of less than 1,000. 300. Less than 300
And I won't
words.
even, put that on second graders, because I know some pretty smart second graders. This dude is just like, very fantastic.
Very fantastic. We'll see.
Amazing.
We'll see.
Right. And let's see. Make sure I didn't. Okay, so. And Cedric says she is fighting for us all. We definitely will look her up. And Jonelle says, as the Honorable Minister Farrakhan said, no one grows up in America sane. Especially if you're black. There's just an oxymoron.
Yes.
Absolutely. And Arthur says, let me see more. See, I'm getting wise, Donovan. Oops. You say, but these old people in their 70s and 80s you speak of who want to keep us dependent upon oil, I mean, by now, haven't they amassed hundreds of millions of dollars yet? Hundreds of billions. Trillions of dollars yet? Like, what's the point of them keeping it anymore? Keeping it anymore?
Let's go back 100 years. Ford. Rockefeller. This guy, in his old age, he started giving away a few bucks.
Right.
But before that, this guy was a ruthless. He was killing people and just.
He was one of what they call the robber barons.
Yeah, the robber barons. And like I said, the trust. Teddy Roosevelt came and broke up these trusts because these were the people that were controlling the country.
Right.
Period. And he said, we're going to break this up a little bit and let these people know that we're going to regulate you.
And they're saying that they're still controlling the country.
Yes.
Just not out in the open.
Yeah, but again, we all know 5% of the population control 90% of the wealth in this country. So what's the difference?
Right. True.
We know the numbers.
Right. And Jonelle says, none in government can contest the Federal Reserve, more or less question it. They answer to no one. And you also say they aired Lincoln out and all that opposed them. Kennedy was the last one with the nerve.
Right. And they took care of him in broad daylight, and that sent a message to anybody that followed him. Because you got to think about it. We had a coup d'etat in 1963, and every government that's come after that has been illegitimate. If you really think about it, because these people weren't elected.
Right.
And it's just a bad situation. You just follow the money. Everything comes down to the money.
Right. So Kennedy was assassinated, but just not by the person they told us it was.
Right. Well,
in case you didn't know.
Well, those of us that shoot guns, if you're shooting at a target, moving or stationary, let me ask you, D, what do you think is going to be? You have 3 shots. What do you think is going to be your best shot?
The headshot?
No. Out of the 3 shots, which one is your best shot?
Your last one? Your first one?
Your first one.
Why the first one?
Because you're trained and you know what you're doing. Now, this is a moving target.
Got it.
I've got a boat
Okay.
action, whatever. So
Got it.
I have time. He's coming down the
So
road.
this was a professional. It wasn't just some cat who just decided,
No,
hey, you know what?
he was a Marine, but the thing is, the number of shots and all this other stuff, he basically, they put him in a line of fire, and it was multiple
That's
shooters.
what I'm saying.
It had to
But
be multiple
they said
shooters.
it was one.
But if it was one,
Right.
3 shots, your last shot's going to be your best shot as the target's moving away from you. That's almost damn near impossible.
Hey, I'll take your word for it.
Usually
you know?
your first shot is your best shot.
I only have a taser right now.
Usually your first shot's your best shot.
And let's see. And Tay says Jared Kushner runs the Middle
Yeah,
East.
right.
And that's Trump's son-in-law.
And that guy's a total idiot.
God.
Totally.
Artemis, she says, the Federal Reserve are owned by the international bankers.
Right.
You know the families that we were just talking about that. Right? And Jonelle says, Trump didn't need to make this move to win 2020. This is about a bigger objective.
Absolutely. Look, you use that as an excuse, get the American people behind you, the war continues on.
Right.
And now you're going after Iran. We had an agreement with them. Trump comes and says, I'm just going to pull out. This ain't no real estate deal.
And then the thing, too, is, I mean, even since I can remember as a child, we were always taught, you know, even if it was subliminal, or for me, you know, I didn't understand because I was a child, that Iran was the boogeyman.
Right.
You know, we've always, that's kind of what
Ayatollah.
I remember. Yeah, yes, exactly.
Ayatollah.
Right. So we've been taught that, they're the boogeyman, and so here we are, you know.
Right. These people just want to fight these people. And I'm going to tell you, if we went to war right now, there's no way we have the resources and the personnel to beat these people. We'd have to turn that place into a glass parking lot.
We have to employ Space
Force.
Space Force.
Tay, they need you.
God. And Cindy says, Donovan said what I said about Trump blaming and clanging at the gym while listening to y'all. So he's doing his workout.
His workout. All right.
Yeah,
I got to get back into it, too. It's been wintertime. I can't even snap.
It's already January 3rd. You're behind.
Well, I'm waiting for school to start up again.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got to kind of do everything in tandem. It just
Well,
makes sense for you.
you know, while I'm at school, I take a gym class.
Okay.
So, a little break.
Way to spend those taxpayers' dollars.
Yes. I'm making sure I don't waste your tax dollars.
Thank you. We appreciate that. So, I mean.
Oh, and by the way,
Yes,
for you veterans out there, January 1st, if you're a honorably discharged veteran and have a VA ID card, you have access to the base MWR facilities as well as commissary and exchange privileges. You can now go and do your thing.
Tax-free?
Yeah, tax-free. And as we know, the commissary meat is a lot cheaper than Winco and Walmart. So
Is it better, though?
yeah, it's
Better than Winco chicken?
no.
You say you're taking it too far now.
Yeah, that's fried. I'm talking about, like, the chicken you want to get. Like, my mom made a roast. I ate that whole fucking roast myself.
Down.
I ate the whole roast.
So you sound like you need a detox, a cleanse or
I
something.
do. I mean, I'm going to have a big old brick coming out. And I'm not looking forward to that. I'm sorry. It was that good. Mom put her foot in it on that one.
Sound like she need to put her foot up your... They help you detox. So anyway, yeah. So are we going to war? I don't know. Like I said, this is all this wild speculation. Maybe some of it is not so wild. People are freaking out, you know. And this is another thing too I want to bring up, just since we are here as black people. Like, people talk about this war that's going to happen in this what do you call it, the Civil War
In the nation, right?
within the nation, this race war. That's the word I was looking for. This race war. What we gonna do?
Well, we do know this. If you're going to go to war, you got to know who your enemy is. We do know 50% of the country is our enemy. We know that.
Okay, and then when you add on the people, the black people who are like, I'm not with you guys.
Right. But we know for sure 50%.
We people of color.
Right. We know 50% of our enemy is our enemy, is the population. So we know that.
And Jonelle, you say, right, they create their monsters and dress it with justification via their media. None has ever traveled to America to start war besides Japan after being provoked. But this nation has warmonger from past to present in other nations. And Japan has been what? They've gotten all kind of reparations. And
Exactly. Well, that's Japanese Americans. And think about this. The Japanese Constitution, the Japanese nation's Constitution prevents them from having offensive type weapons. because of World War II. That's the treaty that they signed that they will never go to war.
Right.
Whatever the deal is. They are authorized to have a self-defense force. The Japanese just now launched a brand new aircraft carrier.
Why?
Self-defense.
Because they see this fool is over here?
Well, no. They're our allies, but the thing is, they're not supposed to have an aircraft carrier. That's an offensive weapon.
Got it.
That's not used for defense. It's an offensive weapon. But they are now authorized to have that, and they're buying these weapons to defend themselves against Korea and China and all that other stuff. But their constitution specifically says they can't do it, but yet they're doing it.
So basically, we're all screwed for the most part.
No, what it is our Boeing and Lockheed arms manufacturers have now been granted contracts to sell to the Japanese.
I wonder why.
To make the money.
How do we get in on some of this action?
They won't let you. That's what I'm saying. They won't let you in. We used to have multiple defense companies. You had McDonnell Douglas. You had Rockwell, Roar.
Yeah.
Now we're down to Boeing and Martin Lockheed. That's it. And Northrop Grumman. You know, you got a few of those guys.
Juggernauts.
Yeah, and they get all the contracts.
Right. And Artemis, she said, what is your opinion on the assassination of the Iranian general? Can America win this war because China, Russia, Turkey have a stake in this war?
No, we can't win. And what I'm saying is, if you're going by the numbers, China alone, we don't even have enough bullets for the people that they have in their military. We have less than 2 million. We have less than 500,000 people in uniform.
Damn. And so that kind of goes back to when Trump was saying that he wanted the military to be like China, saluting them and marching in the streets and all this other stuff.
Yeah, and the reason I said that's active duty. Now, if you put in the reserves, which is what we rely on a lot now. So here you are working your job. Let's say you work a $200,000 job, somewhere at some company, but you're a reservist. Do you want to go to war? At $19,000 on average?
Hell no.
But they're using the reserves more so than the active duty because, again, those of you guys that don't know, 40% of the active duty troops have to remain in the United States. Ask me why.
Why?
In case y'all asses rise up, the president needs people.
Y'all asses being who?
The white folks or the blacks.
So people over here.
Yes.
People over here.
Yes, because if you guys try to overthrow the government, the president has troops that is going to quell any rebellion in the United States. A reservist ain't going to do. I mean, we'll do it, but you know what I mean?
FYI.
Right.
Got it.
40% of all active duty troops must remain in the United States at all times.
Arson, you say, it's funny how people always trash Trump for being dumb, quote unquote, but he has always been in a position to find out who the big players are on the board. I am sure he knows he's a puppet, but I think he knows his masters because if he's as ignorant as you two say he is, well, unless there is a major revolution here, we are truly doomed. What would be the point of fighting him if the head's operations are operating in the shadows?
Well, here's the thing. Yes, you're right. He's a figurehead, whatever. When we say he's dumb, why would you say what you're going to say when you know people are on the call? You know what I mean?
I mean, and then tweeting like intimidating witnesses and all kind of stuff.
In lifetime, you get exonerated supposedly by the Mueller report, and on that very day, you start the Ukrainian crap. The guy is a moron. There's no doubt about that.
Somebody definitely is, and and they said before Steve Bannon left that he was actually the president. If you will, running the figurehead, he was running the thing. And had a schism and whatever happened.
And before Trump, you had Bush Jr. That guy was a total idiot.
Okay,
the perfect pawn. He did not know what he was doing. And if you guys don't believe me, who did he surround himself with? Daddy Bush's people. All Daddy Bush's people came back to get this guy straight. He was just a figurehead.
We talking about the same cat on 9/11 that was holding the book upside down?
Right, that guy.
Reading to the kids?
That guy, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So, I mean, you need those kind of people, but you can't sit there and release your taxes. You haven't done that. Release your grades. He won't do that. Trump stakes, failure. You lost $1 billion in the 80s. You tried to be a mafia guy. That didn't work out. You know what I mean? It's like everything
NFL.
Everything this guy has done, his father bailed him out. And then he went through his father's money like nobody's business. And then he's at sex parties with Jeffrey Epstein. Come on. I mean,
Yeah, something's not quite right.
Yeah, I really can't say he's a genius.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's definitely a silver tongue, if you will, somebody who has a gift of gab, and he wrote the book. I think he did.
No, he's a ghostwriter.
The Art of the Deal, but
no, he didn't write that.
Right. So, and Cedric says, I was in a civil war in the summer of 1983. I was 21 years old, a U.S. Marine. My unit was providing security for the Beirut International
you're in Beirut.
Airport.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a buddy. His name is Elmore Bing. I don't know if you know him. He was also a Marine over there at Beirut too. And those guys a lot of them are passing away, but they get together and remember that. And that was ridiculous. For those that don't know, Reagan sent the Marines over there and didn't give them any bullets.
Huh?
To protect themselves and stuff because he didn't want an incident. And I mean, there was a little more to it than that.
Right.
But I mean, that shows you the politics and the pawning of the military that we use on a constant basis.
Wow. And Jonelle says, America's truly Tony Stark.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, Tony Stark.
Iron Man.
Oh.
Iron Man. High tech.
Got it. And Sydney says, better get ready.
Yep.
Yes. And for those of us, us being black people, my dad always talks about store your food in your water. It's not a game. While we out there, as Jonelle says, standing in line for weed and, all the nonsense, once your weed is gone, you're going to have the munchies. Let's say if it goes down, what you going to eat? What you gonna drink? Right. I mean, really, as it is, tap water is not even really, drinkable.
Well, think about this. Okay, let's say you survive all that. It gets dark. Okay, yeah, you got your flashlight, but eventually the battery's gonna die. How many of you guys got solar lighting for your tents?
We do.
Yeah, we do. You gotta think. You gotta think outside the box. I got a phone. Okay, the power goes out, whatever, but we still got the towers, or it's like that. How many of you guys got solar chargers for your phone?
Tell them what happened in Africa when we went to the botanical gardens and you forgot your...
Yeah.
This dude, he's bragging about he's got the solar power battery charger. Donovan is like that dude, right, who has everything you need, compasses and all kind of stuff. This cat forgets the damn solar power charger.
We were going to the botanical gardens. I mean, I'm thinking, okay, it's the botanical gardens. Okay, now we're in Africa, and I'm thinking like America, you're going to have outlets and stuff. Not in Africa. You didn't have that. And so we get there, and I'm thinking, oh, damn.
Do we have enough juice to try to... And then we didn't have no internet, so we had to borrow some from a guy who, allowed my daughter to use some of his and call an Uber.
Yeah.
Lord, have mercy.
Yeah, but my point is, you've got to get ready for this stuff. So those of you guys that are not into solar power, you better get into it. Because even if you got your tent and you're out there in the wilderness as the war is kicking off down here...
Right.
It gets dark. How are you going to see in your tent?
Right.
You definitely don't want to start a fire.
Yeah.
Because people are going to come and see that fire like Red Dawn and kill your ass.
Right.
Whatever.
Wow.
So, you got to think about something.
Jonelle says, you got to have a cause to fight for. The American citizens don't have a reason to fight besides what they're falsely told. Now those they're fighting have reason, and they will be relentless for their cause.
Yeah. I mean, by killing that soldier, you've got those people jumping right now.
And my daughter showed me a tweet from some dude, I guess an Iranian, who was like, y'all done set it off now.
Like fire ants. Some guys are jumping.
Right. Jonelle says Trump selected Trump is selected because he is the perfect pawn for the seat.
Yes. All Trump says, wait, I could be president, and now you guys are still going to let me get away with making money?
Right. A lot of it.
Yeah, okay.
Not me, but my kids and everybody else.
Okay.
Right?
Absolutely.
And Arson, you say, boy... I love how passionate Donovan is about how dumb these presidents are. But by naming Bush, you are proving the point I have been making for years. That is the same scenario being played before our eyes. I'm glad you remember. But is there not the slightest chance that they act dumb on purpose as a part of the game?
No. No.
Something that you ain't faking. Nah.
Yeah, no. Because if you go back and you look at Bush through history, he's not that bright. He really isn't.
What was he trying to make a quote? If you fool me once,
yeah, he couldn't do that.
But shame on you.
But before that, Bush too. Yeah, he was in the Air National Guard, so they say. He enlisted in the Air National Guard in Texas, and he never showed up for drill. So that showed, and then I don't even know how he got his commission. How are you going to make a guy a fighter pilot, and then 2 years later he walks away? That's an 8-year commitment.
Didn't they say he was an extreme drunk and just his grades were horrible?
Yeah, it was in the 60s, or early 70s. The guy was just like Trump, privileged.
Right.
I'm just doing this so I don't have to go over there.
Right.
I'm just going to do what I got to do, and
Right.
it is what it is. The guy was an idiot, though. He was a total idiot.
Make no mistake about it,
Yeah,
okay?
because his presidency was going down the tubes until Daddy Bush sent his people in to save his presidency.
Right. And Sandra says, I have a vision of the thing to come. I told everyone months early, all hell is going to break loose. I had a vision of things come. A 9/11 situation. Our battalion headquarters came under attack. A truck filled with 20 tons explosives Sunday morning, October 23rd, 1983. Now I understand the close encounters with these extraterrestrials. Visitations on going right now. On now multiple visitations since the October 14, 2017, says 14th and 15th. It says see the spacecraft, orb, craft, etc.
Yeah, I see the spacecraft orbiting craft and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. I mean, anything's possible. Was that Area 51 is supposed to house all of these secrets? And I remember I saw you get ready to lead the charge. You was going to storm Area 51.
You know,
you had on your the Spock ears
yes,
and everything.
yes. Like I was ready to go. For those that you guys that don't know, Area 51 is no longer what it was. They
say.
Yeah, no. They moved a lot of the stuff that was there to Wright-Patterson Airfield in Dayton, Ohio. That's where a lot of stuff's stored and do that. They still use Area 51 for its runways and stuff, and it's basically a diversion type thing.
Right.
But there's still some things there, but the majority of the alien stuff is in.
Wasn't that Hillary Clinton talking about, and we gonna open up Area 51 when I'm president?
Yeah. Right. And then they get there and they go, oh, did I say that?
Right.
By the way.
I was just playing. Okay, and so let's see. And Jonelle says, Iron Man was an arms dealer selling to everyone, especially the highest bidder. American arms suppliers are in every nation selling military weapons.
Yes, we sell weapons. That's what we do.
And I also say Trump is now saying they do not want to start a war with Iran. Hilarious.
Yeah. See,
so you just take out one of the top brass?
Right. That's what I'm saying. They say, oh, we're for peace, but their actions are war.
Right.
That's
we was just kidding.
That's the game. And the thing is, you can't go around country. This guy wasn't even a citizen. Even if you are a citizen, you can't just kill me. But that's what they got Obama on. Yeah. When he killed that you state citizen overseas. Okay. Mm-hmm. But some court ruled that, yeah, you could because he basically renounced his citizenship. But you can't arbitrarily go around assassinating people because you're the United States president. Right. That's a war crime. That's a criminal court crime. I mean, you're going to put all these... let's talk about the diamond conflict in Africa. You're putting Charles Taylor and all these other guys up on charges, but we're immune because we're Americans. That's a bunch of bullshit. Right.
And Artemis says, get dry goods and water will last with refrigeration. How long do you think that skirmish will last? I think they will try and reinstate slavery.
Reinstate it? They already done it.
Right. But how long will it last? Even if it was the last a week, I don't think a lot of us would even be prepared. You know what I mean? Because we, like I said, I hate to say it, as my mom would say, we too busy good time Charlieing.
No, I hate to say this.
Uh-oh.
I hate to say this. Remember when the riots were going on over in L.A. and stuff like that? And remember everybody was like gearing up to go hit the Kmart and all this other stuff? So if there is a war, I predict this for my community. The buffoonery that we do. We take advantage of a situation and we're going to go rob and steal and take because we figure it's the end all. So instead of survival stuff, we're going to take the big screen TV.
Right. And, in all fairness, because you like to say, speaking for our community, we do that. Mm-hmm. And as they said, too, white people do it. But when they do it, it's what? It's survival.
It's survival, right.
They have to do what they have to do.
Yeah. A good example
is
when
we do it, it's looting.
Right. It's like, remember when the Katrina thing happened or that one thing was happening? And, okay, a natural disaster is happening and these fools are going into stores. Instead of it's one thing to say I need some toilet paper and my baby ain't got no diapers, right. Whatever. No, they're going in there stealing electronics.
Where are you going to plug it up at?
But that's why I say insanity for us. It's there.
We crazy.
Yes, it's there.
And then you also say Artemis Trump is trying to avoid being impeached.
Well, impeachment doesn't stop because you go to war. I think we can chew bubblegum and walk at the same time.